Class was there for everybody to see, but tomorrow morning, I promise you, tomorrow morning I'll sit and I'll think 10 years ago, as I said earlier, I'll make no apology for saying it again, we're going to Peterhead, we're going to Elgin, bottom of the third division, or back in the third division of Scottish football. So to come back that in a decade, and I was chuffed to bits for the first half performance. I really was disappointed. As Michael said, I'm sore that we lost 6 goals the second half. The gulf was there for everybody to see, but of course there's an element of pride, of course there is.
Yeah, and we all loved having 6 British teams in the Champions League. We're sad that both the Scottish sides have gone out, but it's all about progression.
Yeah.
And the position that they're in now is that they haven't guaranteed their qualification yet, but they are 6 ahead of Ajax at the moment. Obviously only 6 points up for grabs. So a single point will guarantee Liverpool qualification.
Jürgen, that was a tremendous second half. I mean, wow, 7 up.
Actually, I liked the first half already, to be 100% honest. Big parts of it, at least. Of course, again, we conceded that goal. It was well played. Reaction was good. And in our good spells in the first half, we played already exceptional between the lines, and we showed the boys situations that we can do that and have to do that more often, and then it will be pretty exhausting for Rangers, because it was tough to defend us in these moments. And and then Darwin opened the box and more as well, and then it was well scored. Harvey, huh? That's 6. Yeah, that's it.
Mo's hat-trick is the fastest in Champions League football. I mean, this is a ruthless performance, it's every word for it.
Yeah, different position, more inside. We have to force him a bit, but it's no, of course, that is an outstanding player, we all know. And today he showed that, and it's good.
And speaking of outstanding players, Bobby Firmino, it was a fantastic show. 2 goals, a brilliant assist. I mean, you rely on him. He's a player you can trust.
Yeah, of course. Oh, the goal was now a cheeky one from Costas. We wanted to go there, but you have to hit the one anyway. So it was a great goal, a great equalizer, very important. Yes, he played an exceptional game. To be honest, I didn't see a lot of players tonight who didn't play really well. So Harvey played super, Fabio played top, both 6s from the beginning, really there. Centre halves top. Yeah, there was everybody was spot on. So in a difficult game, it could have been much more difficult. We know that, and so that's why I'm really pleased.
Particularly because they took the lead, and the crowd is in.
Yeah,
it's everything you probably didn't want.
Yeah, the difference in the atmosphere is massive, and they score, and when we score, obviously. So, but that was clear. But now we are not only since yesterday in that competition, so we know that in away games it's like this. We played in most difficult circumstances, and tonight could have been, how I said, much more difficult. But because we played football, and when we play football, when we play to our potential, then we are a pretty good football team, and that's what we showed tonight, at least in a few moments.
The group looks a lot better now. Napoli, of course, are away. Now you're chasing, and he also it puts you in a nice position going into that Manchester City game. A lot of.
Yeah, much better. That has nothing to do with the City game, obviously, but of course it's better to get some confidence and some flow. But we have to prove consistency. We know that. I mean, I don't have to say that all the time. I don't only say it because I only get pretty much asked. So we know what we have to do, and we will give it a try.
Thanks, Jürgen.
Welcome.
Virgil, that was a spectacular second half. It looked like almost an exhibition at times.
Yeah, it was great. I think obviously what we expected definitely happened. Obviously with the fans behind them, especially in the beginning, they will try to give everything, and you have to be very composed and play the ball quick from side to side, between the lines, get on the ball, put your body in between the ball and the player, and play with composure. And I think at times we did it. In the first half, we could have done it better. But second half, we did it much more better.
You're one of the players who've actually played here before in a Scottish League Cup a few years ago, so you'll have known that they.
I've never played there, No, I was playing. The game was at Hampden, Hampden Park. So it was my first time here, and obviously it was a great result. Good night in Glasgow.
And a fantastic performance by your strikers tonight. Let's say that. I mean, Bobby Firmino showing in the first half and through into the second, and Mo Salah was ruthless.
Yeah, obviously they had to come, the Rangers in this case. So the space will be there if you play it well. and they obviously the quality they have, and they showed again tonight is we need for the rest of the season, of course. So yeah, good goals.
Yeah, an important statement tonight. Well, there's a lot of people questioning Liverpool, and you've heard all this before, but I mean, it's an important for morale and to boost everybody's confidence.
Well, obviously it's not a bad thing winning 7-1 over here. Obviously, I think from the outside point of view, obviously everyone expected us to win here, but we take it game at a time. Obviously, we know that we're in a tough period, and we take it game by game, and that's how we approach tonight. That's how we will approach from now on the big one on Sunday. You know, they are in a fantastic form. It's always difficult games against each other for both sides. So we'll prepare well, recover, and be ready for Sunday.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you very much.
Is there an argument that the scoreline is significant in terms of Liverpool's season and where they found themselves in recent days?
Quite possibly, yeah. There was always the concern after everybody questioning Liverpool's start. Would it be everybody saying it might be a good time to play Liverpool?
Can't go with the fact you've basically lost your voice up.
Absolutely. No, I think for the first 45 minutes was a game, but Liverpool just took it to a new level and stepped up. They didn't step up one gear, stepped up 2 or 3 gears, and it was a mismatch in the second half.
And people have loved watching Liverpool struggle. You know, that's often how we operate, isn't it, in this country? But let's really look at what this is about. You know, they had that huge season last year, sort of 64 games, hardly any break over the summer. They've had serious injuries. It's really interesting to see how much people are relishing it. And actually, if we look at the facts around why it may have happened, you can argue that this is still a hangover from the fact they could have won the lot last season and didn't.
Well, exactly, and I'm not sure. I mean, struggling by their standards, it's been an average start to the season, but
domestically, 14 points off the top.
Champions League, it's virtually signed and sealed after 4 games. Still 2 games left in the group, so that's a big tick in the box. And yeah, domestically, they're off the pace at the moment. They're putting a couple of incredible performances. I mean, we've seen a 7-1 tonight. We've seen a 9-0 against Bournemouth. Started the season sloppy, no question about it. And I still think there's a few cracks. You know, we looked at them in the first half, and we were. You know, I'm sure we'll go into a bit more detail about the goal that they conceded and another goal that they could have conceded. So I still think there's a little. They're not quite the same, but these people that are saying, "Oh, Liverpool have gone, they're not the same," and all this rubbish. I mean, well, that's what it is. It's rubbish. Yeah. Don't forget, a couple of seasons ago, Liverpool had a really poor season in the COVID season. I mean, really poor season. And look what happened the next season. They bounced back. Last season, they were inches away from being one of the all-time greatest teams, and now a few games in, everyone's saying they're rubbish. I mean, come on.
Listen, you can say that people are revelling in the decline or the mini decline of what we're seeing at the beginning of the season. There are going to be opposition fans that are going to be happy with that because Liverpool have been successful the last few years, but I don't think they're as far away as people are making out. And you saw today, Mo Salah, he may have been a little bit off form, but he comes on today, gets a hat-trick. I think the important thing today is there's individual moments in this game that could switch from being people lacking confidence to going, I feel like I'm back again. And it doesn't matter who it's against. Putting the ball in the back of the net, I wasn't one that done that. These guys will tell you that feeling can't get bored of that. All it does is breed confidence, whether it's a tap-in or whether it's a worldie. He managed to get 3 today. Firmino managed to get 2. I'm sure them players will be going into this next game against Man City, huge game, bouncing with confidence, but still, I think there will be fragile minds as well when things maybe don't go their way. This team are accustomed to going one behind in games. Yeah. It's happening far too often. That's one of the things I think that will be irking the manager. He'll be sitting there going, why is this? Why can't we start the game properly? Why are we giving teams a 1-0 goal start at the moment? They're little things they've got to change for their season to make a drastic change.
Well, let's have a look then at the goals from the second half. Firmino, I mean,
brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant. I said before the game, I was a great admirer of his game knowledge, his game intelligence, and I just really think he's an extremely clever player.
You said you'd like to have played him, haven't you? The way he plays.
He's one of these players. If you make a run, he knows where you are. There's only certain players have got an awareness of people where they are on the pitch. And he's one of them. Whether he's receiving the ball or he's making a run, he just knows. He's looking there to see where Tavernier is.
Great ball, isn't it?
It's a brilliant ball. Ken should probably went back with him a lot earlier. But I'm looking at Firmino. The first thing he does, he looks to see where the right back is, knowing, OK, I'll stay this side and that's where I'll make my run. He's just a very, very... keeps the ball down well, obviously, and the finish, you could argue McGregor's a little bit unlucky, but it's a brilliant, very clever player.
Yeah, he was the star player, I thought, tonight. Yes, Mo Salah came on and scored a hat-trick, but it's a lot easier to do that as a substitute, tired legs and everything else.
And a great assist.
Well, I mean, talk to me about that. The ball is slightly behind him, and most people would take a touch with their left and flick it through with their right, but no, he's just improvises. He's just total quality, isn't he? But as I say, it's hard breaking the deadlock in a game or equalising when it's tight, and he scored 2 really, really important goals that set Liverpool on the way, and the rest was the icing on the cake. No question. I think
in this atmosphere as well, some players can get caught up because it's such an electric atmosphere that everything's hustle bustle. Never the case with Firmino. Everything when it comes into him slows down. He plays the game at his pace. And the way he's fluidity through the game, like you see there, he doesn't even have to shuffle his feet. He just improvises. That's the Brazilian samba that he's got in his game that is different to a lot of the other players.
I think he's one of these players, Firmino, when in the 45 minutes, when it's all a lot of it's passion, a lot of it's high intensity. Great players like Firmino look as though they've got a split second more time on the ball.
And also he's been needed because Sadio Mane's obviously left. Mo Salah, there's been a few question marks about him. Nunez is getting used to the Premier League. Suddenly this guy's been absolutely central to Liverpool.
But even with that, you would still say maybe at the start of the season, a lot of people would have put him in 5th place, in terms of the pecking order. Now, in the Premier League is about to take place at the weekend. I can't imagine he's not playing, so he's already, had such a good season and such a good recent, got recent form that I don't think Jürgen Klopp can leave him out at the weekend.
And using the striker's mindset, what does tonight do for Mo Salah?
Oh, what a breath of fresh air it is. I think Rio was spot on his assessment when he said, you look at Liverpool tonight, second half, brilliant. Manchester City will watch that game tonight, for example, and see Liverpool saying excellent second half. However, they'll see 1 or 2 things that they'll fancy. Manchester City will fancy a little bit. I've no doubt about that at the weekend. However, Salah, I looked as though Salah was needing, throughout the start of the season effectively, he's not been the same. He's needed a little bit of boost. He's needed a wee jag. Tonight he comes off the bench. He'll have gone maybe mentally a little bit from there back up to there, and now you can guarantee he'll be really looking forward to the weekend.
Talking of people scoring a goal to mentally make a difference, I think Nunez's goal was important. I thought he was quite ragged in the game today. I thought for the first hour, I love his movement. I think he's a real try, a real good runner, and makes some great runs, galloping runs into the channels, but his end product today was just a little bit off,
just a bit slack,
ragged, wasn't
I don't
it?
think it's 100%
he needed that
tight.
goal.
Nothing's looking clean with him at the moment.
Yeah,
he's snatching. And you guys will know better than me as forwards. When in the moments where you're not scoring goals, you just make quick decisions. You think, I want to get rid of it, try and score as quick as possible, and it's rather than taking an extra touch, taking your time and slotting things. But the goal he scored was a very good finish.
Indeed. Well, let's have a look, shall we, at the Mo Salah hat-trick. What was it? Just